Mary had a little ham, by Margie Palatini. It says, I'll scoot back so you can see the pictures. So, still can't see it, can you? Okay. Okay, I can do it like this, I guess. Mary had a little lamb. Wrong. That's right. Hold on to your woolies. Was a boo-boo with the ba-ba. The old goose lady got her tails mixed up. What Mary had was a little ham, a corker of a porker. Stanley was the last in the litter of the Snoutowski brood. He was quite handsome, very pink, and extremely talented. Mary knew Stanley was something special right from his very first oink. He was not one of those little piggies that went to market. Nor was he one of those little piggies that just stayed home. Nope, he did not pig out ever. In fact, he was a little piggy who rarely ate roast beef. And as Stanley, as wee as he was, certainly was no crybaby. No, no, no. Stanley was an actor. In fact, a regular little ham. He could make 'em laugh, he could make 'em cry. And wow, could those little pig's feet hoof it. Stanley could do it all. He was very versatile. Mary was Stanley's biggest fan. Stanley Snoutowski, you're wonderful, she would say. Bravo, Stanley, bravo. She would applaud. And Mary always told him she thought he was the most talented pig she had ever met. Stanley, you're the most talented pig I've ever met. The two became inseparable. Everywhere that Mary went, Stanley was sure to go. It wasn't too surprising when he followed her to school one day. Yes, he knew it was against the rules, but he wanted to make the children laugh at his new play. They did. We love Stanley, they all squealed, swooning over the little swine. Well, Mary knew that kind of talent. There was no keeping Stanley down on the farm during summer stock. No doubt about it, the little pig was headed for the bright lights of Broadway. The two friends promised to write and always keep in touch. Mary kissed him on the snout for good luck. Remember, Stanley, she said, as they both waved tearful farewells, you're leaving here a pig, but you'll be coming back a star. Stanley went to 42 cattle calls that first week in the city. There were hundreds of hams just like Stanley at those auditions, all hoping to land their first pig part in the theater. Before the directors were even interested in Stanley or his talent, before he even had a chance to finish singing, he would be ushered to the exit. Me, too short, next, and la, too chubby, next, and again, la, lose the honker of a nose and change the name, next, huh? You're boring me, kid, boring. With little success and after much rejection, Stanley began to doubt himself and his talent. Aww. He wrote to Mary, am I really too short? Should I shed a few pounds? Could I spare a few ribs? He pondered his portly profile in the mirror and waited to hear from his friend. Of course, Mary wrote back immediately. Nonsense! Pig slop! Mary was right, though thought Stanley. He was a fine-looking hunk of pork. A bit stocky, perhaps, but nonetheless handsome, pink, and proud. Change his snout? Never. Switch his moniker to the likes of Hamilton or Bacon? No, sirree. It would be Snoutowski lit up in the lights and the marquee for all to see. Right there and then it seemed impossible. Improbable. Then Stanley thought of Mary. She believed in him. I believe in me too, the pig sang out. Stanley had a feeling way down deep inside that he was going to make it. No matter what, it was going to mean hard work, lots of determination, and probably some luck. But he was going to do it. However, pig parts were few and far between. Oh yes, Stanley did get a small part here. He managed to get his pig's foot in the door there. But while waiting for that big break, Stanley, like a lot of young actors, had to bring home the bacon by working as a part-time taxi driver and a singing waiter. Days passed into weeks. Weeks passed into months. Then more months. Yes, people knew the name Stanley Snoutowski. Unfortunately, the only place they knew it was at the restaurant. Snoutowski, burgers and fries for table number 4, and make it snappy. Back on the farm, Stanley was still in Mary's thoughts. She kept saving her pennies for the day when she knew she would see her little Ham starring on Broadway. And she wrote him once a week, always with an encouraging message. Just remember, Stanley, sing out, you can do it. I can do it, Stanley said aloud one day while driving his taxi. I will do it. Then, just at that moment, who should hail his cab on the corner of Central Park South and Fifth Avenue but none other than the famous Broadway producers Hoggers and Hammerswine. Take us to 42nd Street Theater, my portly young pig, said Hoggers as he and Hammerswine climbed into Stanley's cab. With the meter ticking and his heart beating, the letter from Mary by his side, Stanley got into gear and got up the gumption and sang out with gusto, "Right on the avenue, I'll take you to 42nd Street." Hoggers looked at Hammerswine. Hammerswine looked at Hoggers. He's spectacular, declared Hammerswine to Hoggers. He's snoutastic, declared Hoggers to Hammerswine. By the time the taxi got to Times Square and Stanley had sung an overture and 3 choruses, the producers wanted him for their new Broadway show. Stanley became an overnight success. His name was up in lights. Critics raved. Everyone who was anyone was talking about Stanley Snoutowski. He was a smash in South Pacific. He was a box office buffo in The Pig and I. He did it, they cheered in Pygmalion. Stanley even won the Best Actor of the Year award for his role in the famous play Pork Chop on a Hot Tin Plate. And then he got the biggest part in the entire career, the lead in Hamlet. However, Stanley wondered if he could really cut the mustard in one of Shakespeare's classics. Opening night, backstage, alone in his dressing room, Stanley put on his grease paint and worried. He put on his costume and worried. He waited for his cue and worried. Stanley had a belly full of butterflies. Could he really do it? He wasn't at all sure the show could go on, and then he read the note that Mary had sent to her dressing room. "Dear Stanley, the world is your stage. You can do it. Your friend, Mary." There was a knock on the door. "You're on, Mr. Snoutowski. Break a leg." Stanley put the note in his pocket. He waited in the wings. The house lights dimmed. The curtain went up. He made his entrance. The spotlight was on him. The audience was breathless. To oink or not to oink? That is the question. Bravo, bravo, bravo. The applause was thunderous. The cheers deafening. What talent, what an actor, what a pig, roared the audience. Stanley